Hey guys, if you're subscribed, don't forget to like or comment this episode. You're going to the draw for that barbecue kit or the BCF voucher. If you haven't subscribed, do that now and like or comment, and enjoy this episode. Hi everyone, thanks again for joining me on Sealed for Good. Today we're talking about how to apply the Gripset BRW, the Butyl Rubber Waterproofing range. We have been inundated with questions around the country about how this sheet system is applied, how this unique, innovative sheet system is applied. And so there are differences between how you apply this to the GC range and also some of you that may have used other self-adhesive systems before. There are significant differences to applying it. So let's firstly talk about surface preparation, because that's key to all membrane applications. Yes, you need a surface to be clean. If it's a porous surface, then you can use any of our primers that will seal that surface. So if we're talking about concrete or even a screed surface, then you need to ensure that you've got that primed first. So you can use the Gripset GP, you can use the H2O, Express H2O primer, or you could still use our E60 or our Gripset SP if that's where you want to go. But if it's a surface that doesn't have any rising damp issues, quite simply to stabilize it, you can use the GP primer. That's the most cost effective. And then you can put our BRW sheet over the top of that. Now, if you're going on a non-porous surface, you make sure that it's clean. If it's something like Dincel, one of the biggest benefits of BRW is that you don't even have to prime. You can put the HD directly over that. But if it's a substrate maybe like Skyon, then we still would recommend a primer like our SP primer, because it dries very quickly and it gives you a really good surface to adhere to. Now, when you are laying the BRW range down, any of the sheets, you need to plan your layout first. Any sheet system is a little bit different than tackling it with a liquid. So you don't put the bond breaker in first for a floor application, but let's talk about flooring areas, bathroom or balcony. You would actually get all your sheets prepared and understand where you've got your lap joints. We have a 50mm overlap, and the sheet actually has a guide to give you the overlap section. But once you put it in position, then you really peel back the release paper. It's that simple. You start to get a guide, and you'll see that now, how it places it onto the surface, and then you start to remove the release paper from the rear of the sheet. And while you're doing that, you just quite simply push the sheet in place, and being butyl rubber, it bonds like the proverbial. It will stick straight to that surface, and you keep continuing down. When you get to the end to terminate, you cut the sheet. It should already be pre-cut, but if you want to keep it on the roll, which some contractors do, you can cut the sheet at the end. And then when you're laying the next sheet down, you line that up so it starts on that lap joint. Now, if it's a floor application, as I said, you lay the floor down first, like the GC system, and then we come around after and apply the bond breaker system, which can be the BRW sealing tapes, butyl tapes, or those of you who still love the B50, Elastiproof B50, you can use that around the perimeter. They both work as bond breakers for our system. You can walk over the BRW sheet and apply the bond breaker in place as needed. Always, we recommend putting rubber mats down, so when you're walking over a membrane, you're taking precaution, but there's no shifting of the sheet because there's no wet adhesive underneath it. You go ahead, lay your bond breaker down, you seal all the joints up of the lap joints, and then it's ready for tiling and finishing over. Now, if you're doing a retaining wall or a basement application or a planter box and using the HD system, that's where the application process changes slightly. So there we have our BRW fillet. It's a butyl rubber fillet, solid fillet, in a 45-degree angle. You apply that first in place at the wall-floor junction, and that sits in place first, and then we lay the sheet over the top of that, HD sheet over the top of that, and that returns beyond covering that fillet, and that wall floor junction, that critical wall floor junction is taken care of immediately with a solid layer of butyl rubber as the fillet, and then the sheet over the top of that. The HD system has a self-adhesive strip on the edge, so lapping is real simple. You remove that release paper from the sealing edge, you lay the next sheet on top of it, it bonds incredibly, you've got really good adhesion, and then we've got the tapes that you can utilize as an additional seal over those lap joints. And also, if you are using any of the protection board over the top of the HD system, we've got the BRW sealing strips, and they make life very, very easy, because unlike trying to put silicone or sealants or even gluing it or scoring the sheet to try and get your protection board over it, there's no issue there. The sealing strip will bond the protection board onto it immediately in place before the backfill. The sealing strips are a real underused resource for BRW applications because you can actually use them to double up on a seal, particularly around where you've got lap joints with the sheets together, or you might have created a certain profile or an acute angle. You can use that underneath the butyl sheet itself or the butyl lap joint, even with the PF grade, because butyl to butyl bonds very, very well, and it will, under compression, what you've got with BRW is you've got a tenacious bond and a permanent adhesion, and it's instantly waterproof. So if you've got questions on that, those specific details, if it comes with the GAP course, you would have seen how we teach you to do that, or you can get hold of the Tech Inquiries and we'll give you some support and advice on that. But this is a real simple application. You need to respect the membrane system, though. You need to follow the details, the specifications, etc. But this is waterproofing made very, very simple without compromising any quality at all. And so you've got no solvent primers, you've got no flammables you're dealing with, you've got no welding equipment, no torch-on equipment. It's you, a couple of basic trowels and tools and wipes, and then you put it in place, you walk away, and you've got a phenomenal job finished. If you'd like to know more about the BRW range, you know where to come. You can call 1-800-650-435. Any of our team around the country can come out on site and show you what to do, or you can even lean on some of our GAP resellers around the country that can teach you and show you how to do this as well. Until next time on Sealed for Good, I'll see you then. Be part of that change.